Howdy, y'all. I'm sorry. It's the hat.
Hi, I'm Ma.
And I'm Pa.
Welcome to our channel.
So, what you got for us today, Ma?
Well, it looks like we've got some folks with some relationship issues. Maybe we can lend them a hand.
Yeah, maybe we can at that.
I, 38-year-old female, shot an adult scene when I was 18. My husband, who's 40, doesn't know, and I just found the video again online. Should I tell him? 20 years ago, when I was 18 years old, I shot an adult scene. I didn't intend to shoot the scene. I was going with my friend for support, and when she chickened out at the last minute, I stepped in and I did it. I regretted it immediately after, and regretted it even more when I saw it on the internet. The video, which was about 30 minutes long, wow, that is a long, made its way around, mostly being shared on file sharing servers. This was post Napster, so there were a lot of knockoffs at the time. But after a while, the video seemed to disappear, and nobody I knew ever found out about it.
Well, that's the problem with the internet. Nothing ever truly disappears. Once it's online, it's online.
Yes, somebody will find it again. I met my husband a few years after I shot that scene, and I never told him. I was ashamed and prayed that he would never find out. He never did, and we have been married for 15 years now and have 2 children together. Congratulations. He is the love of my life and satisfies me in every way. I check frequently for that video that I made, and unfortunately, last week I found it again on an adult site. It's one of the more popular sites, and I am now terrified that someone else will find it. It could be someone that my husband works with or a friend of my daughter's. I'm just terrified. My question is, should I finally come clean and tell my husband? I know that he won't leave me if I do. He knows I was rather promiscuous before we met, and he's been okay with all the crazy things I did. But this is the one thing I never told him. It's the thing I am most ashamed of, and I don't want him to ever see. And that is what is preventing me from telling him, because I don't want him to see it. There are many reasons for this. The biggest for me is that I don't want my husband to feel insecure. The man I shot that scene with had very large junk, and I made quite a big deal about it when I shot the scene. My husband is a little above average in that area, but he isn't close to that guy. But none of the other guys I've ever been with were either. I've had the best relationship of my life with my husband, and that's the truth. But I still feel like he may lose his self-confidence if he sees this video. So what do I do? Should I just roll the dice and pray he never finds it? Or should I come clean? Wow, I don't know if I could hold my composure, but let me ask you, dear, if that was me, would you want to know?
You know what? I absolutely would want you to tell me, not because I want to look it up or anything like that.
Sure.
um, but the whole thing is, if I find out on my own and you didn't tell me, that could actually damage the trust um, that we now have. I mean, if you're hiding that, what else are you hiding?
That's true, because as we know, trust is one of the most vital keys to a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and the other side is that you didn't trust me enough to tell me. You think I'm gonna blow up or divorce you or something, or that our relationship's that fragile.
Hmm.
Truth be known, ma'am, you're 18. And I'd tell this even if it was my own wife. We all are entitled to having our young and dumb stages in life. I know I had it. Some would argue I'm still in it. But fact is, if your husband is as good as he claims, he'll understand. We got any comments?
Yes, I believe we have two of them.
Cool.
As someone who was on the other side of this and found out by accident, I wish she would have told me. And I would tell. When in a marriage, there's no secrets. Very true. You don't want him to find out on his own and question why you didn't tell him. As a man, I'd rather know than be surprised. If he really loves you, he'll understand and try to make it work. I crushed my husband's feelings. What do I do? I'm a 29-year-old female, and my husband, who's 28, decided to try out stand-up comedy at an open mic night. I was so excited because he's hilarious. I asked him if he wanted to practice with me, but he said no. He wanted it to be a surprise. So, I finally got to watch him perform the other night. His delivery was great. He's got good stage presence, and just getting up there at all takes a lot of courage. But his material, it was one extended joke.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with jokes?
Some members of the audience loved it. They were in the minority. Most of the audience looked uncomfortable and slightly appalled. After his performance, as we were walking home, he asked me, "Did you like it?" And I said I didn't like his material because it was basically one big joke. I then said that he had great stage presence, and I think this could be the start of something awesome if he worked on his material. He got upset and said that I was a buzzkill. He said that everyone was laughing besides me, and I pointed out that they weren't, and that not even the majority of the crowd was. He's really upset with me. He says he was really nervous about doing it and was just proud of having done it. But I made him feel ashamed. He's unhappy now and says there's nothing I can do to fix it. I told him that I was sorry for being too critical. I've been performing since I was 5, and my mom never gave me praise, only constructive criticism. So I grew up thinking that caring about someone meant telling them how they could improve. I should have told him how proud I was first before I told him what I didn't like. He says I've ruined his debut performance, and nothing will change that. Is there anything I can do? I told him I would work on being less critical, but he says it didn't fix anything that already happened. Do I just have to accept he's going to be mad at me for the next however long?
Well, ma'am, coming from a guy that's done stand up himself, what your husband said ain't no lie. You get nervous. I mean, you're going from, it's one thing being funny with your wife, husband, kids. You got a whole bunch of strangers staring at you, then you best get real funny, real quick. However, with that being said, your husband, if he's going to be a comedian, he's got to have a bit thicker skin. I mean, the one thing I learned is you got to be able to deal with hecklers. Right?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, and some hecklers, their only goal is to embarrass you on screen. Oh, I'm sorry, on stage. And they don't care if they hurt your feelings. They'll yell all sorts of things until the management gets upset and kicks them out. My advice, try apologizing to them again and maybe be less critical. you're right. You should have started telling him what was right instead of going right off on what was wrong.
And did you really ruin his debut? I mean, what you said should only be a part of it because he was watching the audience, and if he saw their reaction, then he should know if the general public accepted it because you're only a part of it. You're a vital part, but still you're just a part. I'm a 24-year-old male, rejected my best friend, who's a 24-year-old female, when she confessed to me. I regret it, and now she won't even really talk to me. What should I do? So my best friend and I became best friends when we were high school freshmen. She actually rejected me when we were 16 or so. It wasn't anything serious. I just kissed her, and she told me she had a lot going on, which she did, and we moved on. We were still best friends. I got over it, and we were just doing our thing. I admit that we've always been very close emotionally and physically. We've always told each other everything. We're the first person the other goes to with good news. In our friend group, there's always been jokes. I call her my girl, stuff like that. We hug a lot, kiss each other's cheek, even cuddle. If we didn't say anything, it would be reasonable to assume we're dating based on optics. I think part of me let it happen because I'm not really sure I ever got over my feelings as much as I'd like to believe I did. 3 weeks ago, she told me she had feelings for me. I don't know why, but I laughed and I told her that was stupid. Uh-oh. And that I wasn't 16 anymore. I don't know if I was nervous or scared or what, but I just laughed. She was super hurt. Like I could see it in her face, and I felt like a total piece of crap. Like that was straight up mean. I'm not even entirely sure why I rejected her because now that I practically have not spoken to her in 3 weeks, I feel like my heart has been ripped out. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and while I'm not entirely sure why I rejected her in the moment, I have a theory. Whenever I'd get jealous of her exes or I'd find myself thinking about her with my exes, I'd tell myself I'm not 16 anymore, like it was a mantra. I think I may have said it because that's what I trained my brain to do. She left my place, and that was the last I physically seen of her. She's been clearly avoiding me. Our interactions over messages have been kind of distant. She always comes up with an excuse when I invite her somewhere. If I see her on Xbox, I always invite her to a party, and she used to always join. But the first time I did since then, she suddenly appeared offline, and I haven't seen her online since. I know for sure she has been. I just know there's no way she hasn't played anything for 3 weeks. She's not ignoring me per se. She's just not as friendly with me as she was. Last night when I had a few friends over for drinks, a 24-year-old male, 25-year-old male, and a 26-year-old female, I admit that I was probably drinking too much and getting sad. They asked me what was going on, and I told them the whole story, even admitting that I'm pretty sure I'm in love with her. My male friends have known us since we were in college, and they were sad about the falling out. One of them suggested it's temporary, and she probably is just hurt and embarrassed because she's never handled rejection well. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
The two guys gave me a lot of advice, but I finally decide I will go visit her after work today, since I know she's off work today. One of my friend's girlfriend, the 26-year-old female, called me a jerk and says I'm acting crazy. She said I have no right to be sad since I rejected her in such a jerk way. She even said that I'm not in love with her. I'm just sad she's gone. I don't believe this to be true, considering I was regretting it as it came out of my mouth. I'm sad that she's gone, but I'm not sad because she's gone. I'm sad that I hurt her and that I said something awful and stupid that made her upset. After some thinking, I decided not to pop up at her house because I don't think it's fair to her to surprise her when she's not feeling it. I haven't spoken with her much today, but I sent her a picture of a possum that I saw when I came home from work. Oh, that's cute. She said it was cute, which is actually like our friendliest interaction these few weeks. I have apologized to her. I just told her I was sorry for how things went down and that I acted like a jerk and wanted to see her. She just said it was cool and sent a meme. That was within the first week after it happened, and I was just trying to give her time so I didn't push. The apology wasn't great because I wanted to apologize in person, but I have to actually see her to do that. I honestly have no idea what to do. I really want to see her. I'm fairly certain that it's been the biggest mistake of my life.
Son, first thing you gotta do is stop making excuses. It has nothing to do with a mantra or how you train your brain. It has to do with the fact that you're taken by surprise by her confessing how she feels about you, and you just didn't handle it well. Trust me, you could have handled it a lot better. Okay, you want to know a way that might work? One, don't be afraid of making a fool of yourself. Women, for some odd reason, really dig that when guys make a fool of themselves on their behalf. What I would do if I were you, I would go over to her house.
Don't forget the flowers.
Yeah, that would be a nice touch. Whatever flowers you happen to know she likes.
Mhm.
Knock on her door. When she answers, I just turn to her, look her in her eyes, and say, before you say anything, let me say what I got to say. I am so sorry I hurt you. You're the last person on this entire planet that I would ever want to hurt. Fact is, my reaction had nothing to do with you, it had to do with me. I was just taken by surprise. And perhaps a little bit of fear. Because it's something you don't know. I have loved you since I was 16. I thought the feelings would just go away, but they never have. Every girl I've dated since then, I've compared to you. Every time you've dated someone, I've had a bit of jealousy, wishing I was them. And once again, I am so sorry. And I beg you, don't let my foolishness wreck something that can be truly great.
Aww.
Would it work on you?
We're still together for 17 years, so I guess it did.
Though it's important to point out, we were broken up for about a month early on in our relationship.
Mhm.
And no, I did not do exactly that, but I did apologize. And because of that, here we are. Now, am I saying it's a guaranteed fix? No, we can't guarantee that. I mean, we don't know this girl. She may look at you squarely in the eye and goes, oh my God, that's so corny. But she may not. And that is the reason you should do it. No, I know people do a lot of stuff online and through Texas, but something like this, you probably want to do in person. Doesn't matter if other people are there. Because the only person that matters if she's is there is you and her. Just something to think about. Well, I think that's where we're going to end it today.
Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, that'll really help our channel out. And if you got anything to tell us, any suggestion for content, or you want to tell us how we're doing, what you thought of the stories, by all means, our comments are always open.
Thanks again. See you soon.